Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and here we have the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. This is a couple years old now. It came out the year 2022, and now it's 3 years later, and I'm gonna try and say if it is worth it still in 2025. For the Z Fold 4, which is what this is, it has a clamshell design like that, or as I like to call it, like the wallet, because it really just folds up like an old 3DS, if I can find one, or no, it's like more like a fold. But this is on the outside, you have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, and it's IPX8 water resistant on this model, and it is much better than the Z Fold 3, which I last reviewed, sadly, like a year ago. I haven't uploaded in quite a bit. Now, the main display, which is the inner one right here, this has a main 6.7-inch foldable dynamic 2x 120Hz screen. So it's very, very smooth of what I've used it for, at least. This version is 120 gigabytes with 8 gigs of RAM. So yeah, that is what the SoC is. I believe it goes up to 256 gigabytes. The cover screen, which is AMOLED, is 1.9 inches, very small for literally almost nothing. You just have time, music. I don't have anything playing. Then you have weather, small apps, and a recorder. Why not? And there's much more if you click this, and you've got contacts and whatnot. If you open it up, back again, I will say from the personal experience, there's a fingerprint sensor if you want to know, and for the volume, which is a cool thing. If let's say you're trying to turn up the volume, or I'll turn example, you're trying to turn down the volume, it goes down, it goes up, and then when you close the phone on the front side, if you look, the buttons actually are reversed, so like technically this would be down right here, but on the cover side, they made it so it's actually up. So when you're playing music, just the little thing for that. And what I'd still say for personal experience is that this phone, with only 8 gigs of RAM, I will say it runs not as good as I was hoping when I've been using it. I would say for an Android phone, try and get at least 12 gigabytes of RAM if you can, or at most, at least that I feel like is the bare minimum you go for. And but let's right now talk about cameras, which just has only 2 cameras, no telephoto. It has, if I close it up, it has a 12 megapixel wide and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Both have OIS, so optical image stabilization. And the front camera is 10 megapixel. So this has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 with 8 gigs of RAM, UFS 3.1 storage. Newest is I think 4 or 5.1. And if you want to, I guess, if you want to record a video like an old camcorder design, that is technically a thing you could do if you're still from the 90s, I guess. Probably not. The battery, I will say, is 3,700 milliamp hours, which is not really a lot. I was able to kill this thing with like 4 to 5 hours, which I'm guessing that's because it is an older phone, so the battery health is worse. But when I did used to use it, it would not really last. I mean, it's funny, it says a day and 5 hours left, but I would have it on power saving mode and like light mode on, or whatever it's called. Was it? Yeah, light mode on, so it prioritizes battery. I cannot speak today, sadly. It can do 4K 60, or no, 4K 30 on both cameras in HDR10 plus. That. And it goes up to 4K 60. It can, I believe this phone goes up to One UI 8, I believe. I believe right now it's on One UI 7. Yeah, and it's running Android 15 right there. From the about year-ish so I've had this phone, I can definitely say the crease on this has not been the best. There is actually starting to be cracking, and if I like pretend to scratch it on my phone, you might be able to hear if I hold it up close to the microphone, maybe. Might be, I don't know. If so, that is what I'll say an issue with this one. And when I first had it, it was not like that, so it is literally just a wear issue, and I don't like, I've been treating it normally like a phone as I would, and that's just what's so far happened. The hinge, I will say, has been good. It's been keeping up, besides the screen like slightly cracking. One thing I did hate though is that, let's say I'd go out for a run or whatnot in this phone, since this phone does not have the fully closable hinge, like on like a newer phone where it's literally flat. This is a Z Fold 5, but so occasionally there'll be dust that builds up, and then when I'm done running, I'll open up the phone, there'll be a line of dust, I'll be like, get my thumb and just smear it off the phone. That was, I would say, an issue I mostly had on this phone. I believe this is a 9 by 21 aspect ratio for the screen. It goes, I believe, 15 watt wired charging, and either 15 or 20 watt wired charging, 10 watt wireless, and 15 wireless, 25 wired, and 4.5 reverse. Which, how you do that is on the phone. This is my favorite feature when my iPhone's friend's battery dies, which they do actually for some reason. Which, I mean, they're supposed to. They're not last forever. But anyways, if you click this button, as you can see, you get another person's phone. So let's say this Z Fold 5 I have, and you put it on the back. Whoops. And then the phone on the other side would start charging. Sad thing is you have to angle it just right. If I can. There it goes. But, of course, wireless charging is basically the slowest method. So this still has, it said, 2 hours to go. So, do not really recommend for wireless charging. If you have wired, go for it. Yes, I will say, I've maybe scratched the USB trying to plug it in the right way. I believe I did it on one of these, but that would be the only issue, really, that I've noticed. The screen, I will say, on the cover gets very fingerprinty, but, it's a screen. I guess, that's what you're going to get. We got nice blue color here. It opens up still, I feel like, it opens up exactly 90 degrees when it's fully closed and then open. And I feel like on my Fold, when I open it up, it's still, I feel like, very slightly still, maybe if you can see it on camera, it's not fully 90 degrees, so I have to push it back very, very, very slightly, but it doesn't close all the way. But that is a newer phone, both blue colors. I have not had this phone backplate crack. I bought it used on eBay, and it still works. If you want to hear the speakers, let's go for it right now. Just give me a sec. Okay, here I opened up CrabRave, and I forgot to mention the screen, the resolution. It is 1080p, so you're going to be very crisp image quality. I believe it has, I don't know what the PPI is, but it is sharp enough where you're not going to be literally staring at individual pixels. And this is actually a good example for this CrabRave. It is 21 by 9, I believe, so it should fit the screen almost perfectly. Maybe just the corners getting cut off, but let's listen to those speakers. If I can turn it up, yeah. Alright. I would say it gets loud, but the bass is not really there, which is, I know, difficult because of how the phone is, and it's hard to pack. You can't pack a subwoofer, in such a small device phone. So that makes sense, but I will say it works. If you want to use it in 2025, I recommend actually not. I recommend trying to get a Z Fold 5, 6, or maybe even 7, because I know that's out. I know some Z Fold 5s or 6s are about the same price as like $500, $400, and this, I mean, yes, it is cheaper. It's about $275 when I got it, but that was a year ago, so it's probably even less. But I recommend getting a foldable that does not have, if you can see it, a gap. You can basically, if I get a flashlight, sorry for blinding you if you're watching this at night. As you can see the light like perfectly, right? If I can get the right angle. But you can shine a light basically straight through it like that. If I'm correct, if I try and do the exact same thing on this phone, it should be much more difficult to actually see the light. Boom, there you go. Right over it. And try to get a good angle. And that's how it looks. That's how that looks on there. It's just barely visible because of how it closes completely shut. But if you're looking to buy this in 2025, I say personally, don't buy a newer one. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.